Hey guys, so I just saw the film Evil Dead Rise, and it was pretty good. Now my experience with the Evil Dead films, I appreciate them more than I like them. I love Sam Raimi as a director, and I love Bruce Campbell. But it's more of just like, they look cool, they're fun, but I don't love them. Except for Army of Darkness, which is kind of a hot take, but that's my favorite. I just think that movie's so much fun to watch. I haven't seen the remake. Overall, I think the remake, that was a weird approach to it, because, I don't know, I think the appeal of those movies are the amazing camera work and the energetic pace, and so for them to just kind of get rid of that, and then it's just like a stripped down normal horror movie, it's like, what's the point? You just call it something else. But it's gotten good reviews, so I might see it one day just to see it, but still. I think this movie, Evil Dead Rise, was a much smarter approach to the material. The approach in Evil Dead Rise is basically to keep the camera work, keep the energetic pace, but tell a new story. And I think that's incredibly smart and a breath of fresh air for the franchise. The film is directed by Lee Cronin. I have never seen any of his other works. Based on this film, he's a pretty damn good director. It's obvious he is a Sam Raimi fanboy. His camera work is clearly inspired by him, but it looks good. And I love that kind of pace, I love that kind of style, I love the movement of the camera. My only negative would be that, hey, maybe he doesn't go far enough with it, Maybe he should have pushed it farther than he did, but it still looked really cool. The effects are great. I don't know if there was any CGI in the movie, which is really refreshing. It just felt very, just practical, very stripped down, and it was very refreshing to see. It's a very low budget movie. The entire thing basically takes place in one apartment complex, but it's incredibly effective, and you never feel the restraints on the film. Now this is a horror movie. So what does that mean though? I was gonna say that means there's suspenseful scenes. There's not really suspenseful scenes in this movie. And a big gripe I have is, of course, there are jump scares, and honestly, a lot of jump scares. I guess they kind of technically did it in the original ones, but I don't know. I feel like the kind of horror of those movies were more the insanity Bruce Campbell was going through during that film. That was what was scary more than just creature popping out at you. All the characters are extremely well written. Lily Sullivan, who plays the character of Beth, she has a simple arc, but it's effective, and she works for the movie. The standout is Elisa Sutherland, who I believe this is the first movie I've seen from her. She is absolutely amazing. She gets possessed by a deadite early on. That's in the trailer. And her turn as this kind of psychopathic horror villain, it's so good. She is so amazing in the film. She should get an Oscar, legitimately. She should get an Oscar. She's not going to, but she should, because she's really fucking terrifying, and her performance is so good. And it's honestly, during the first half or the first quarter of the movie, I wasn't sure whether I was liking it or not. But when she starts doing her thing, that's when the movie really kicks into gear and it becomes really enjoyable. The rest of the cast does a pretty good job. There's no standouts, but there's a little kid in the movie, and she's in the whole thing. I wonder what it was like to film with her. Did she understand there was a horror movie? Who knows? She did a good job. And that's not common for little kids in these types of movies. But she did a good job. So props to her, and props to Lee Cronin for successfully directing a child, especially in a movie like this. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Bruce Campbell is not in the film. Of course, he executive produced it, and he did a lot of press for it, which just kind of made me think, it was come on, you could have just thrown him in there. I mean, there's a scene where they're listening to voice recordings. I was thinking that would have been a good place to do it. Maybe he was in it, I just missed it, who knows. The story, like I said before, is original, and it doesn't feel like the other Evil Dead films. In fact, if you haven't seen any of them, you can just watch this one, cold, and you'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. Now, for the true diehard fans, there are a lot of callbacks. I don't think there's any that are like bad. I think all of them are pretty good. I was kind of like waiting for them. The ones that we get are done pretty well, I would say. I don't think there was anything that was ham-fisted or annoying, you know. I think with like fan service it can get a little weird, like are you just doing this just to like impress like the nerds in your audience, but he was done pretty well. I think you might hear a lawnmower in the background. Okay. Also, this movie is like fucking 90 minutes. You're in and you're out, so you're really wasting nothing, you know? It is really quick, but it never feels like it's too fast-paced where it's just like you can't get any of the emotion out of it. It's pretty well structured to where you get good character moments while still being consistently entertained. And that's it. Obviously, you can tell I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun, entertaining time. I think most people will like it. Most horror fans will like it, I should say. It's a solid movie, and I'd give it an 8 out of 10.